This is the cost of doing business on TLV1. We now move on to our next subject. Pesticides maker Makhteshim Agan, or Adama, as it is called these days. Earlier this year, Adama lost its CEO when Erez Vigudman was appointed CEO of Teva. Yesterday, the biggest maker of generic pesticides published its yearly and quarterly results, the last under Vigudman's tenures. So, how did he do? With us is Gilad Alper, senior analyst at Excellence. So, first of all, how did Adama, formerly Makhteshim Agan, do in its yearly report in 2013?
I think it was a decent report. The revenues grew by almost 10%. EBITDA profits grew 8-point-something%. So compared to the industry, they did okay. I mean, overall, this is a very, very tough industry they're in. Extremely competitive, costs are high. So the 8-point-something% increase both in the top line and in EBITDA profits is decent. It's a bit hard to compare MA Industries or Adama, as they're called today, to the industry, because the industry is very fragmented. There's a lot of generic players and only a few large players that are pure plays in this industry. And mainly everyone is looking at, or usually everyone is looking at Syngenta and Monsanto. And compared to those two, Adama did fairly okay.
Yeah. Okay. Still, it did have a weak fourth quarter. It did lose, I think, $29 million in the fourth quarter of this year. So it's not. They did have a weakening during the end of the year.
Correct. But firstly, EBITDA in the quarter was positive. Actually, it was pretty nice, $51 million. There's a lot of things that happen from the operating line profit to the bottom line. There's the financial expense, taxes. So EBITDA is usually what you would use to, how would you judge such companies that are so volatile. But also for Q, there's always a lot of seasonality. The European market, which is traditionally by far the biggest market for Adama, is very weak in 4Q. So you would usually look at the year overall rather than just a single quarter. And on an annual basis, they were okay or okay-ish.
Yeah. Okay. Still, in what state does Erez Vigudman leave Adama, formerly Makhteshim Agan? It's still the biggest maker of generic pesticides in the world, but it is an increasingly competitive market. So, in what state is the company right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that many of the issues that Adama had back then in 2009, 2010, 2011, they remain. As in the market, as we said, is very competitive. Adama, not because of Vigudman, it's not his fault, but they missed the GMO boat many years ago, and it's very hard for them now.
And still haven't recovered, right, from missing that boat.
I'm not sure this is a boat you can, this is a miss that you can recover from, because the market is
moving fast.
There's a lot of big companies like Monsanto and Syngenta and Bayer and BASF, a lot of small companies like the Israeli company Evogene that are developing new technologies. So it's something that's very hard to recover from. And then if you look at other issues that Adama had back then, for instance, not being strong enough in the American market or the U.S. market, that remained a problem. So that's not solved. I guess what Vigudman did do is he basically stabilized what was an extremely rocky boat back then. So it's growing now, at par with the industry. It's no longer looked at as a basket case as it was again 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So this is
So it is on the right course.
Achievement. Yeah, it's on the right course. It's not a great company, but it's
a better company.
It's a better company. And again, it doesn't matter how genius the CEO is. As long as the industry is extremely tough, it's going to be almost impossible for the company to thrive. To work miracles.
Looking ahead, Adama is currently considering a public listing. Can going public change the company's fortune?
Well, I guess that if Adama is expressing their desire to be listed and possibly even soon, that probably indicates their level of confidence. It could mean that the next few quarters are actually going to be okay, because usually companies don't list when their financial performance deteriorates. They usually do it when it gets better. What is interesting, of course, is where exactly they're going to be listed, because as far as I understand, the New York Stock Exchange is a big possibility, and Hong Kong is also mentioned as a place they might choose, and possibly they'll do Hong Kong and the U.S. together.
Sure, but not Tel Aviv.
Well, exactly. This is the interesting angle. Why not Tel Aviv?
Yeah.
Because MA Industries, although if you look at the revenue breakdown, they do almost nothing in Israel, but they're headquartered in Israel.
Yeah,
and
it's
they
an
used to
Israeli
be an Israeli company.
Yeah.
So why are they not listing in the Israeli market? I guess for the same reason that everyone else is escaping the Israeli market.
Regulation.
Regulation, taxes. Smart companies that have a choice don't list in the Israeli market, and that should be another wake-up call for the regulators in Israel, because here's another example of a company that, at least in theory, was supposed to list in Israel, and they're not even considering it.
Yeah. So most likely they will list themselves at the New York Stock Exchange or Hong Kong, is what you're saying.
I think
these are the most likely options if they go to an initial public offering.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you so much, Gilad Alper, for joining us.